Activist groups have turned out to protest the Conservative Political Action Conference, known as CPAC, in Sydney this weekend. The two-day conference is hosting Conservative speakers and current and former elected officials from Australia, the UK and the US. Kenny Heatley is there. Kenny, looks fairly busy where you are. What's happening at the moment?
Yeah, well, the CPAC conference is running today and tomorrow. There's 35 Conservative speakers over the 2 days. 880 attendees are attending each day, Saturday and Sunday. And we have about 100 protesters here who claim to be from Sydney activist groups Community Action for Rainbow Rights and Campaign Against Racism and Fascism. They did expect protesters to turn out. There has been a police presence here all throughout the day. There has been also scuffles between a couple of attendees. Well, not scuffles, just arguments and a bit of push and shove I saw before between one attendee of the conference and a couple of the protesters here. I spoke to a gentleman called Rowan, who is in charge of things here and has been on the megaphone. Here's a bit more of what he had to say.
I think the much more worrying thing about free speech in New South Wales is the fact that the police are pushing more and more charges against protesters. We've seen that against people in Blockade Australia, and we have all of these police here for a protest. I think that's much more worrying about free speech than people standing up and using their democratic right to protest the far right.
People like Nigel Farage, who's flown all the way from the UK to tell us about how he whipped up a vicious campaign against migrants in the UK.
So some strong words there from Rowan, the leader of this protest group, on Nigel Farage, the former Brexit Party leader, who is holding his speech at 3:30 here today. They seem to be on the move right now, or moving on. But I spoke with Nigel Farage inside CPAC earlier this morning about the protesters turning out today.
Well, remember that the new left, the old left understood that grown-ups can have different points of view and that actually in a free society that's how democracy works. The new left think they're superior beings, that they have a higher moral purpose than Conservatives, and effectively they want them closed down, shut down and cancelled. And that's why we see protests as we're going to today.
So, Janie, as you can see, these protests, I'm not sure how long they're going to last for, but they are butting up against police right now. See whether they're back tomorrow is another thing, but as you can see, there is a police presence trying to stop them from moving on. But at the moment, it is generally peaceful. Back to you.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. We'll touch base with you throughout the afternoon.